This is Paul McGann, and you're listening to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast.
All right, and welcome to a very special episode of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. Today, I am at Who North America in Indianapolis, Indiana, hanging out during one of their monthly open houses. The owners, Keith and Janie, have been super awesome. They put me in what is normally their screening room, and set up a nice table for me with electricity and all that fun stuff. So today, hopefully I'm getting to talk to some fellow Whovians and talk Doctor Who. So stay tuned.
I'm Mark Daniel.
You're
What to say about myself?
You're Janie's minion, apparently, according to Janie. So
Slave labor.
yeah. So how long have you been slave labor?
About a year now.
Year?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So, are you? How did you? I know Janie said you go to church. Is that how you met?
I met them at Mount Gilead and found out what they did, and
Offered your.
been a Who fan since I was probably 6 or 7.
Nice.
Mom got me into it.
Nice. Did you start watching it on TV or?
Yeah, it was on. I think it was on PBS or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Way back in the day.
Yeah.
It was with Tom Baker, so.
I was about to ask, who was Tom the first one you saw?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be the case with a lot of people.
It's a popular one.
Yeah. I'm not quite old enough to have watched it back then, not when it was on PBS, but that's how I've heard a lot of people of a certain age. If you're over a certain age, that's your first foray into Who, unless you're, I guess, lucky enough to be living in the UK. So you come and just help folks
Yep,
shop
I've been given tours for. It started a couple months ago because I just come here, hang out.
That's not a bad way to hang out on a Saturday afternoon, actually. So it's kind of like Cheers.
Got me helping at some of the conventions, and
Yeah.
that's really nice. I
Yeah.
can go to the conventions and actually have a reason to be there.
Yeah.
Wandering around aimlessly.
Yeah. Cool. Alrighty. So. All right. Well. Thanks for coming in and chatting here.
No problem.
My name's Sierra Zuman, and I'm 13, and I'm from Bluffton, Indiana.
Okay, cool. So you're young when it comes to Whovians, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. So when did you start watching Doctor Who? When did you first discover it?
A little bit. Well, my dad, he was watching it, and I remember looking at him. He was talking about Doctor Who, and I thought it was just some geek thing. And then one day, I actually sat down and watched it, and I loved it. So then I started watching the series, and then so pretty much my dad introduced it to me.
Okay. And where did you start? Did you start with Rose or?
Well, I think I started with the first episode I ever saw was with the 10th Doctor,
No.
but then we started it over,
No.
and I started watching it then from the beginning.
Okay.
So
Cool. And you've been keeping up with everything
Trying
since
to.
then, trying to. Yeah, it's difficult if you don't have BBC America. Thankfully, the internet is out there, so if you want to watch it, you can find it. So, do you have a favorite Doctor?
the 11th.
The 11th Doctor, Matt Smith. Good choice. So, do you have a favorite, like a favorite episode or something that when you think of Doctor Who, like, yes, this is.
I really like the Weeping Angel episodes.
Okay.
Probably the one where they're in the cave and Amy, with Amy or whatever, and she's stuck in the room or whatever with the angel,
With the
and it's
angel.
like a hologram or whatever.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my favorites because we always talk about Weeping Angels, and then whenever I see a stone angel, we're like, don't look away from it, and then I'll trip and I'll be like, I'd be dead.
Every time you go by a graveyard, you're like, dang you, Moffat. And you're scary aliens. So, all right, cool. I guess that's it. So, all right, so thanks.
My name's Caleb Goldberg. I'm 15 years old, and yeah, I'm a big fan of Doctor Who.
All right. Well, when did you start watching Doctor Who?
When I was 12, I believe.
Okay.
So I've been a fan for a few years.
Okay. And did you start with the new era?
Well, I actually started by mixing them both up.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually my first episode was actually Tom Baker. I think it was The Ark in Space or Destiny of the Daleks. It was one of those two. Then I went on to the new series, and since then I've been mixing it up. I've seen everything in the new series, and I've seen quite a lot from basically all the classic eras as well.
Cool. So, do you have a favorite Doctor?
I like them all, but the second Doctor, Patrick Troughton, I really like him in particular.
Okay.
I think he did a good job reinventing the character.
Yeah. Well. And do you have a favorite episode, or?
Admit no.
No.
I've seen so many episodes and there's so many different ones. I've tried to come up with a favorite episode a lot, but I've never been able to.
Yeah. Well, since you've seen a lot of the classic series along with the new series, what do you think of the new series? Do you think when the new series came back that they did a good job?
I think they did a fairly good job. Yes, obviously it's quite different from the classic series, and I can understand why some old fans might not like it, but I don't know. I think it does a good job reinventing the series for a more modern era, but I like both.
No, okay. That's good. And then Janie said that you'd had a letter.
A letter, yes. It was just my thoughts on Last Christmas, which was an episode I liked pretty well. I didn't think it was amazing, but I thought it was good.
Yeah, that was probably exciting to open up, Doctor Who magazine and see your letter in there. So
yes.
Yeah, so so you obviously read Doctor Who magazine. Do you get into the other media like the comic books and the Big Finish audio?
Not as much. I don't think I've ever listened to any of the audios. I've read a few comic books and I like them fine, but I'm mostly a TV fan.
Mostly TV fan. Okay, well that's good. So all right. Have you gone to like the convention, any of the conventions, or?
Well, we went to a Comic Con. We went to a Comic Con last year, and other than that, no. No.
Have you had an opportunity to meet anyone from Doctor Who?
Meet anyone? No. I got to see Matt Smith at the Comic Con, but I didn't actually meet anyone.
Well. Yeah, I haven't met Matt Smith either, so we have something in common there. So one of these days, so hopefully. All right. Cool. Well, thank you for stopping by.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure being here.
All right. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Brian Shell.
All right. And you're local?
Yes, I live in Greenland.
All right. Cool. Me too. But you knew that because of her. So how long have you been watching Doctor Who?
Well, I watched it on PBS when I was a kid. Probably started in the 70s with the Fourth Doctor. And, of course, back then, it was always during pledge time. And I came across it and like, what is this? It was neat, exotic. Just being British, for some reason, made it exotic when I was a kid. And then, of course, my first Doctor is the Fourth Doctor, and he's still my favorite. But he's the one I started with. And, they'd always have a pledge drive, and it'd get to the good point, and then there'd be like the half hour where they have to accept money. He's like, yeah, that's great. I'll give you $1. Let's go back to the Doctor Who.
Back to the show.
And it just kind of went from there. And then I saw the Fifth Doctor after that, and I did see some of the Sixth. But then I got away with it, and, other stuff come in. The 90s hit. I became a teenager. Concerts and whatnot, and then Star Trek came out. And then didn't really think anything about it. And then they came out with the made-for-TV movie in 96, and I was like, I was excited to see that, and it was good, and then nothing happened, and you're just like, and then you kind of forget about it and stuff. And then I think maybe the late 90s, the early 2000s, I read some of the books of the different Doctors, and I enjoyed that. And then a friend of mine, who I met through chatting and stuff, he lives over in England, said that they were bringing back Doctor Who in 2005. And I go, really? Hadn't heard anything about it, obviously. Didn't get across. He goes, yeah, they're going to bring it back. So he got to watch it first run air there. And, I kept checking. And Sci-Fi said they would have it in the fall. And I'm like thinking, I asked him how it was. He goes, it's good. It's different, but it's good. I'm like, okay. And then it hit Sci-Fi Channel. I was like, wow. It was fantastic. And it was like, they could do all the special effects that they couldn't do before. And I think they actually had money to do things. But it still was very reminiscent of what they did. And then, of course, now it's been 10 years later, which is hard to believe, too. And it's just like, it's beyond fantastic. I can't imagine something that I watched on PBS as a kid is so worldwide famous, let alone thinking that kids today are going excited about it. And of course, they think it's just those new 4 doctors. Like, no, there's these other doctors too. But I mean, it would have been great to see have the money and the budget to do what they could then with those doctors and see what they could have gone. Cause,
could have accomplished.
I mean, I think they did the best they could with special effects and what the BBC wanted to give them money, but just... And I still think there's some of those doctors, not many of them. Of course, the 8th Doctor did wonderful in his little webisode, but I think could still contribute a lot. And it's just like, it's one of the few things outside of family and friends that I absolutely love and is such a part of me. And actually, you know, between figures and stuff and talking with people, and I've introduced at least 3 people. I had a friend, she's like, oh, no, I got her started. Now she's a big fan.
Nice.
She just went to the Emerald City convention they had in Seattle, and she's like, oh, I saw this doctor and I saw it. She's just like, So that's what I love about it, because it's something happy and fun that everyone can enjoy no matter what age. And it's a show that can be anywhere, anytime, anything, and totally different. It doesn't always have to stick to the constrictions of, you always have to be in space or you always have to be a cop show. It doesn't even have to be the same actor. It's just, what do you want to do today? Big spin of the wheel. This is what we got.
Yeah. Cool. Nice. I'd asked a previous person, since they'd watched both new and old, that I asked what they thought, but you've already said that you thought that the new series has done a good job of keeping ties with its roots. So I'm not old enough to have watched it when it was on PBS. So going into it, I wasn't aware of the history and all that, but I totally agree with you that it is a great show for all ages, of whatever race, creed, religion, whatever. It's amazing coming to places like this and conventions and all that, and to see people, dressed up and their companions and doctors and monsters, and it's old, young, men, women. It doesn't matter, which is a great thing. Even my girlfriend Amanda, it's going on 6 years now that we've been dating, and prior to that, I don't think she really even knew anything about it. And now I got her wearing scarves and buying T-shirts. She knows who's who. We're watching episodes. We went to see the 50th anniversary episode, Day of the Doctor, down at... You sat right near us. At the studio, and it was just like... there you go right there. Yeah. Everyone's together, excited about one thing, and nothing else mattered. Didn't care if you're black, white, gay, especially with everything that's going on. None of that mattered. It was people having fun, enjoying a show. Yeah. And that's it. It didn't have to be anything else. It didn't have to be some bigger political, gay, this, that. It didn't matter. Nothing of that mattered. And that's the beauty of it. Yeah. It doesn't matter. I totally agree. And it's one of the few shows that even introduced gay characters, but it didn't matter that they were gay or whatever. It didn't take away I happen to be, that's great, go kill the Dalek. It's coming after us. No one cares. And that's what I think's great about it. I've always been a big sci-fi geek ever since I was little. And it's just it's a show that can be every aspect of that genre at once. Sometimes it's more space and science. Sometimes, there's dragons, and it's just it doesn't matter. Dinosaurs on a spaceship. Yeah, you want to, and it's crossover, can cross over anything. You can cross over Star Trek, Star Wars, and I've got every episode available on DVD. I have from all the way back to the first one to now.
So I watch it and I watch it. It's a cloudy day, I can watch it. I don't feel good, I can watch it. Doesn't matter, and it'll always be something new and different. And I mean, they did the best they can. You take that in effect, they did the best they can with what they had, but just ignoring all that and just the story of it was great. And I don't think everyone asks, who's your favorite doctor? Well, the fourth doctor is my doctor, but my favorite doctor is yes.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Whichever one's in front of you at the
Who's
moment.
your favorite doctor? Yes. Even the war doctor, the other doctor, the movie doctors, all of them. Yes. So.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you for stopping by. Amanda, do you want to chime in with anything?
I'm hiding in the background a little bit, but yeah. Gone and done several things with Brian. We've watched Christmas specials together. We went to the 50th anniversary special, which was pretty awesome. We dressed up like Slovene, and we had the lights and everything, so it was pretty awesome. We took all the time to find everything so we could be like glowy with blue. And it's just awesome to find something that Brian and I can share and be passionate about, and go hang out and come here to Who&A and pick out new things, and it's been pretty awesome. Yeah. I'm a newbie as far as watching and stuff, trying to get the shows. I'm really playing catch up, but it's a slow process.
Yeah. 50 years worth of television.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
But I'm working on it.
That's good.
And that's the beauty too with Who North America. I mean, I started buying stuff after probably the first season of the new series, and I was like, I always wanted a TARDIS one. It was hard to do in the 80s and 90s, or 80s and 70s, because they didn't have that here. And I was like, I started looking online, eBay and Amazon, and then I just, this looks nice, and then they're here. They're right here. And so I got to go in, and I set up an interview to go in. It was great, and been that way ever since. And then they're like family, friends. So it's not just going to a store.
One of our first dates, he actually made an appointment to come here outside of the actual open house time, and he brought me in and was showing me all the stuff that they had in the museum, and that was one of our first dates.
Yeah.
That's an awesome first date.
Yeah.
That is awesome. All right. Well, thank you for stopping by. So,
Well, thank you.
So I'm
Thank you.
glad to have you here. So, thanks.
All right, thank you.
My name's Dave McConaughey, and I'm from Bluffton, Indiana. It's just south of Fort Wayne.
I'm Scott McConaughey, his brother. Also live in Bluffton.
Okay. So, and you guys obviously intentionally came here. It wasn't like a out for Sunday drive. Like, let's stop by. So, at least it sounds like.
No, actually, my brother was the first to really get into the Doctor Who series, and it's kind of bred to the entire family and our friends. And we just bought a 15-passenger van because our family alone is 5 kids plus my wife and myself. So we just bought a 15-passenger van, and we thought, hey, this is a great first outing. So I invited my brother and his kids that wanted to come, and my best friend and his kids that wanted to come, and we filled up all but one seat and drove down.
That's the seat where all the stuff's going to go, right?
Right. Exactly.
Or you pick up a straggler, one of the two. Wow, that's amazing. So how long have you been fans?
Since the Ninth Doctor, since
Really?
the new series.
Since the new
came
series?
out.
Okay. Yeah.
Caught one episode on cable one night when I was just flipping through channels, and I've been hooked ever since. I mean, it's just I've seen some of the old shows, but I guess I'm one of the new incarnation of fandom coming in.
Yeah.
With the new series.
Yeah, I think I came into it when the 10th Doctor started. My favorite, though, is still the 9th Doctor. Probably about the second season of the new series.
So you've been watching from almost the beginning of new series, which still, I mean, almost 10 years
Right.
is just crazy to think about. So,
And the whole franchise is so large, though. I mean, in order for you to have been a Doctor Who fan from series 1, you'd have to be pretty old.
yeah,
Right.
and actually remember it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. very, very, very true. So, since you guys started with a new series, and you said you have seen some of the original.
I've seen a select few.
Have you seen any of them?
Yeah, I've seen a few of them too.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where once you've watched all the way up to the newest episodes, it's like, okay, well, how can I still get my fix?
Yeah.
So
you
look
go
at
back
the old
to the
ones,
you go back to the old ones.
Yeah.
So and you do you like the classic episodes?
As Netflix calls it,
Yeah.
classic Doctor Who.
I think for me, it just takes some getting used to because it's definitely a different format, a different,
Yes.
and a lot of them were in black and white
Yeah.
too. So like for my kids, it doesn't even interest them.
Right.
For me, once you adjust, it's not that bad. You can still get your fix out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, is this your? I'm assuming this is not your first time coming to Who North America.
Actually, it is.
It
This
is.
our
Wow.
first visit,
So
yeah.
yeah.
We found out it existed, and the first time you guys were open after we found out where it was and had the means to get here, we
Yeah,
loaded up the van.
they'd been on the news, and someone saw it on the news and told my daughters about it. And from that, it was just us tracking it down and figuring out where it was at. And so, yeah, this is our first time. Probably it won't be our last. I'm sure.
Yeah, hopefully not. So.
They'd come back with more money.
Yeah.
Isn't that always the case? Like, shut up, take my money. All right. Well, I mean, that's very cool that that your Who fandom has turned into a family thing. It seems to be a running thread through a lot of the fans I meet. Is if the kid becomes a fan, the parent sometimes becomes a fan, or if the parent becomes a fan, the kids. It tends to spread like a good virus.
we're us and the one friend that we brought in his friend, we're all kind of nerdy and sci-fi
In that way,
stuff.
yeah.
So something like this, where it's acceptable for kids to watch too, where there's not a lot of inappropriate stuff. I mean, Doctor Who's one of the best things you can watch with your kid, as long as they're not going to get scared, have nightmares of
scare factors,
angels or anything.
Yeah. Can't go by a cemetery anymore.
Or see a gas mask.
Yeah. Oh.
Even though those
Trash
are their
cans.
Favorite ones. Those are their favorite episodes, but they're also some of the scariest and most memorable ones.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have a favorite that jumps out at you?
Any of the series with the angels was great. I really love and I can't remember the name of the episode, but with the little boy who says, "Are you my mommy?" With the gas mask.
Yeah.
Those were definitely the more memorable episodes, and again, very spooky, very scary, but also the most entertaining and fun, and and the ones that for some reason my kids even enjoy the most. So
one of my favorites is when A Good Man Goes to War. When you see a lot of the different characters from a lot of the different shows, come in. I love that show.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite episodes.
Cool. All right.
Definitely a Dave Tennant fan. As the Doctor.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, thank you for stopping by and chatting with us here. So
thanks for
enjoy your first visits. Hopefully, it's not too overwhelming.
I'm Danny. I have been a self-proclaimed Whovian for like 8 years now.
No, okay. All right. So cool.
Since freshman in high school.
All right. Well, and how did you discover Doctor Who?
A couple of ways, actually. When Netflix first came out, my dad tried to get me to watch a 4th Doctor episode, and I just couldn't do it. So I kind of shunned it until I was a freshman in high school. Had a friend in band who said, "This is the best show ever." Showed me Martha's series, because that's where it was at the time. So the first episode I saw was The Sound of Drums. So I'm a Martha lover. And basically I just went back on Netflix and watched everything up until then, and now I'm obsessed.
It sucks you in.
It really does. And that was a good episode to start on too.
Yeah. so you're a Martha fan. Are you a 10th Doctor
Yes.
fan?
Very much love David Tennant.
Yeah. He's so adorable. It's hard not to like him.
So true.
Yeah.
I watch just about everything he does.
Yeah. So you are you're a volunteer here, or minion, as Janie called you.
Yes.
Second minion we've had in here today. So,
Yes, I'm their minion. I first came here when they had Peter Davidson a few years back for their Gen Con, and it was the first time I came here. And then they did Indie PopCon last year with Sylvester McCoy, and I decided to volunteer. I was one of their actors in their role-playing game. And I met a few other volunteers, and they said, just come on one of their Saturdays. And now I'm here almost every month, and I go to their conventions, and it's a good time.
yeah.
Definitely made some lifelong friends in the process.
Cool. All right. So, and have you watched? I know you said you'd watched. You'd attempted to watch a Tom Baker. Have you since then? Have you gone back and watched any of the classic series?
I've watched at least one of every Doctor, a few more of the fourth and the fifth. Still having trouble with Black and White, but I actually am collecting the classic Doctor Who novels because they're rewritten stories of the episodes
The
themselves.
novelizations.
Yeah, so I have about 75 of the 156 at this
Wow.
point.
I hope you got a sturdy bookshelf.
Oh yeah. Most of them are paperback, they're old, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is the best thing ever because it's easier to read the stories. And I mean, I know what the Doctors and the companions all look like.
And
So
sound like.
I can imagine it a little bit better than...
Especially with some of the ones where some of it's missing, so.
Exactly. You fill in the gaps a lot better.
Yeah.
And some of them have a few little added details, like Terrence Dicks, who wrote a lot of the original screenplays, actually wrote a lot of the books too. So I got away with just... He has more tidbits that might not have been shown on screen or not have been able to.
Well, he would have known.
Exactly. So it's totally canon.
Yeah.
That's the important part.
If Terrence Dicks says it, then it's good.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, all right. So, I don't have anything else at the moment, so I'm blanking. So, well, thank you for stopping and chatting with us for a few minutes. So,
No problem.
so thank you very much.
I'm Jessica Kesterbeck.
Hi. Hi. And then you're from Ohio.
Yeah, Van Wert, which is about...
I know where Van Wert is.
Yeah.
My friend, her grandmother and her aunt live in Van Wert.
Oh. I'm so sorry. Nothing to do there.
It's a little tiny little town, but that's okay. No, that's cool. Like Ohio. Of all the places in Ohio, you're from like the one town I know.
There you go.
So obviously, since you're not from Indianapolis, how did you find out about Who North America and what compelled you to come all the way here?
Well, my mom actually was like, when I told her, because my mom and my dad don't live together, so my dad lives out here in Indianapolis.
Oh, okay.
And I live with my mom. And she mentioned something about, she was pretty sure there was some kind of Doctor Who warehouse thing she'd heard about before out here, so I looked it up. And then, ironically, the weekend I was spending out with my dad, you guys were open today.
Oh.
And I was like, hey, Dad, hey, we should go here. But, yeah, I got hooked on Doctor Who a little while back when I was kind of flipping through channels, found BBC.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Who was always Matt Smith, so the 11th Doctor is my first Doctor, my favorite Doctor.
Yeah.
So I was like, I have to come out here.
Yeah. That's cool. So, and have you started with Matt Smith, but have you gone back and watched?
Yeah, we my sister, I got her into it, and then she went online and ordered everything from Eccleston's first show all the way till Matt's last, the entire DVD set. So we went back and watched all of Eccleston's. We're in the middle of David Tennant's right now.
Oh, okay.
So
you still have a ways to go then.
Oh, yeah.
So you're not completely caught up. So no. It's good stuff though that you're working towards. So, and have you watched any of the classic stuff yet, or you just strictly New Who?
Oh no, I want to watch all the classics.
Okay,
It's just a matter of getting all of it.
Yeah.
Because I don't like watch piece by piece here and here.
Yeah.
I'd rather get it all and then actually just watch it in order.
Yeah. Netflix is a good place to start, but it's not It's not the best,
Yeah.
but it is a good place to start. You know, if you're not able to buy like DVDs and stuff, but
Full sets are expensive.
yes, they are. They are. BBC knows how to keep our wallets open. So, so are you? Is it you and your friends, or do either of your parents watch it, or your parents
my
are
mom
all
likes
like?
it, and my dad said he's watched some of it. I don't know if he's really into it that much, but me and my mom like it a lot. And I try to get my friends into it, and they, I don't know, the British humor. I don't know if they pick up on it
Yeah.
as much.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is too hard to follow. It's like, you have to pay a lot of attention to this series to catch everything, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Once you get into it, it's rather like you're gonna love it, or you've never really sat down and paid attention to it. There's no
Yeah.
there's no gray.
Yeah. That's very true. Well, all right. Well, I don't really have anything else. So, but thanks for stopping by and talking with us, and thanks for stopping by the shop too. So hopefully you enjoy it, and hopefully your wallet doesn't take too big of a hit.
Dad's paying for it.
Yeah, okay. Well, in that case, one of everything. So, well, enjoy your visit.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Well, it's kind of a long and convoluted story, I suppose. My name is Matt, and I had some friends in college attempt to get me into the show, and I didn't really follow it at the time.
Mm.
I had no idea what was going on, and every time I asked what's happening, they said, "Well, just watch. It's self-explanatory," and it really wasn't. I think I caught Dalek on PBS, the Ninth Doctor episode, and again, it seemed kind of interesting, but I didn't really follow it. Didn't actually get into the show until I watched the, I think it was the first episode of season 6 with Matt Smith. They had a marathon of season 5 on that day, just to get everybody hyped up. I caught a couple episodes of that, and I really enjoyed it. So from that point, I started watching the show. And the only thing that was really holding me back up until then was the show had such a long history, and there were so many episodes, so many that didn't exist anymore to be seen. So at the time, I thought, I don't really want to make the effort to try to catch up on everything, and I don't want to jump into the show in the middle. That's when I discovered it's a show you can jump into in the middle. But I have now collected all the DVDs, all the audio CDs of missing episodes, a lot of the books. So now I'm getting into it.
Cool. Do you have a favorite Doctor companion?
I'm a big fan of the second Doctor.
Okay.
Just because I think he was the perfect blend of being funny enough to sustain the role and still taking it seriously enough that you really got into the tension. And because most of the episodes are audio only, so
Yeah.
he has great delivery.
Yeah. So, and then Janie said you've been coming for a while. You're a long-term customer here.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I used to go up to the Fry's on the northeast side, and they had a small collection of DVDs. I'd just buy whichever new ones were in stock in a given day. One of the employees noticed that everything on my receipt was Doctor Who, and he said, there's this Who NA place out on the west side that you might want to check out. So I checked it out and haven't been back to Fry's since.
Actually, what made it convenient is I'm Ellen, and I just had moved to Indiana 4 years ago, and that was right around the time I think Matthew had really developed this interest and was really starting to go into the classic Doctor Who. And I was with him the day that he was told about Who NA, and I called, and it turned out I was working right around the corner.
Oh, really?
So
you're like, let's go.
That's pretty much. We actually called and made an appointment for a Monday that neither of us had to work, and came in
and went, wow. I know that's the way it was when I first came in here. I'm like, Where have you been all my life? Why did I not know about you sooner?
Yeah, this is the place I bring all my friends if they're not particularly interested in Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if there's anything about the show that will attract you, it's here because everything is here.
Yeah. Between the merchandise and the museum, I mean, with all those collectibles, it's just, I was telling another person, I'd say you could spend an hour or two just going through the museum, just slowly looking at all the shelves and figuring out what everything is. So,
and of course, even if you don't get interested in Doctor Who, they got Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Dirk Gently, stuff like that here.
Yeah, so they've got a few other things. So I think they may have a little bit of like Red Dwarf, maybe too. I think.
I think every
yes.
season Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we were into Red Dwarf years ago. Right after, I guess it was season 2 had shown in Great Britain.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't quite that long ago. Because we were getting the VHS tapes here.
But that's true. That's true. We were getting VHS before they had DVDs.
And I was reading the books before we got into the show.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Alrighty then. Well, thank you for stopping and chatting with me here for a few minutes. So glad to meet you.
And I'm back from the days when Doctor Who was on PBS.
Oh yeah. I've met a lot of people, and it seems it is what it is just because of the timing. But if you're of a certain age, minimum, that you probably watched it when it was on PBS, and then if you're below that age cutoff, then you probably discovered it on like Netflix or something. If you weren't into it when it first came back on the air, 10 years ago. So, but yeah. All right. Thank you.
Douglas Fletcher.
Okay. And are you local?
Yeah, I live right around here.
Oh, okay.
Didn't know this existed until recently, though.
Oh, okay. So you're is this your first visit here?
Second visit.
Second. Okay.
I was back in Christmas. I was getting gifts and looking for a place to get Doctor Who themed stuff because my friend is a big Doctor Who fan as well. So
Yeah.
ended up searching online for something. Found out there was a warehouse here and had to come down and see it.
Yeah. So how long have you been watching Doctor Who?
Oh, not very long. Probably since 2011, I think, is when I started. Like the end of my college years.
Not long.
Yeah, I got into. Started watching some random 10 episodes on TV, and then went back. And started watching the 9th one on Netflix and things like that.
Okay.
Got into that way.
Okay. Are you do you watch just the new stuff, or have you gotten into the older?
I tried to start watching the old ones. It's a lot more talk, so it's hard to sit down and get through all the episodes.
Yeah.
I'm trying now that I have more access to them, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's more of the new stuff is more my speed, I guess, of a lot of action and a lot of
the attention span.
Yeah,
the attention span. I need blow stuff up.
Yeah,
Keep my attention.
I have time for short attention span rather than a lot of time for getting really into the conversation.
Yeah. That's understandable. So the bigger budget that they have now certainly helps too.
yeah, definitely.
So you want to spend $1 million on special effects? Go ahead.
America, we can fly to this States. Before it was considered black box theater where you just had one set that you changed out.
Yeah. So, all right. So, do you have a particular favorite? Favorite Doctor, favorite
I'm more toward
story?
the 11th Doctor. I think I just see a little bit more myself into kind of the goofball, mini tangents when he's getting into things.
Do you have a favorite story?
Don't really have a favorite story. I have a lot of favorite episodes. Like not a Matt Smith episode, but Silence in the Library. I really like that one.
Okay.
Just mostly because the idea of a whole planet of books is really awesome. I like the werewolf one though with Tennant, where they're in the manor. You have the Queen and all that. That was a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
As far as my favorite Matt Smith ones, probably the 2-parter for the Pandorica one I like the most. Just his big grandstanding speeches I really like.
Yeah. that is a good speech. So. All right. So, have you had the opportunity, I know, you've been here a couple times. You had a chance to go to like any of the conventions or anything?
No, I saw one, which I guess now realize that was them. I
Yeah.
saw when they were set up in Gen Con a few years ago.
Okay.
Because I remember when I came in here, I noticed the TARDIS that they have set up, and I realized that was them. But I'm not trying to get more into cons, just more of financially and time wise. With a full time job, it's not as easy. But yeah, when I was in Gen Con, I was there for a while at the Doctor Who booth.
Yeah, it's a popular place to hang out.
Yeah, and they also had, I guess, a Dalek out too at the time. So someone was in that and was moving it around. So.
Yeah, they have a Dalek that moves around and can talk, and that was like the first thing I ever saw, like when I went to Gen Con a couple of years ago, and I was like, Dalek, it's talking. I must take a picture with it. So, alrighty then. Well, thank you for stopping by and chatting with me. So, all right, thanks.
Dorian Gray.
Okay. So how long have you been a Whovian?
I'm not sure.
It starts to blend together after a while, doesn't it? Yeah.
We got in at the very beginning. He's been watching it since the 9th Doctor for him.
Okay.
The 9th Doctor.
Yeah. Oh. Cool. So you jumped in on it when it actually started. So 10 years ago.
Yes.
So that's cool. So it's funny because there's it's a good mix. And it's interesting to see where people's jumping in point was.
Well, because I remember as far back as the 4th Doctor. So when I, heard that it was coming back, yes, he's watched it since the beginning.
Cool. Yeah. And have you watched any of the classic series, or has you been exposed to that?
I've watched quite a bit. He's watched a little bit.
A little bit. Through osmosis. Over the shoulder. Oh.
Well, yes, because I make references and then I have to show him the episode.
The context.
So yes.
I totally understand that. I do that with my husband all the time. So obviously you've got a longer history with it than he does, which I guess makes sense. So you were watching it on PBS back in the day when they would show the classic series. So, and then how did you find out that it was coming back? Because I've heard different stories from people that they didn't know it was coming back until after the fact.
I saw previews either on what channel was it on at the beginning? Wasn't it on Sci-Fi Channel?
I didn't jump in.
BBC America, whichever.
Yeah. I've heard different stories. I think it depends on who you were and where you lived, and
previews of it.
Wondered whether you.
I thought, oh, wait a minute, that sounds very familiar.
Yeah, must watch. Yeah. Yeah, because I've like I said, I've heard some people, they didn't know it was coming back until after it already been back for a little bit, and.
No, I think I saw the previews that it was coming, and.
Okay. Yeah. And then how did you find out about North America?
Kokomo Con.
Okay.
Just a little bitty con started by the owner of the one and only comic book store in Kokomo.
Okay.
He started it, and we went the first year, and I think they were there the very first year, and we saw them then, and that's been 5 years ago. This will be the 6th con or the 5th. I've lost track now.
Guess that starts to blend together after a while.
Yes, it does. And then these guys weren't able to come the last year or two, and so we've missed them. And I saw on Facebook that they were having this open house, and we thought we'd
come down,
check it out. Yes.
Cool. Very good. So, is this your first time here?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So we've met them before, and we're familiar with their merchandise and everything.
Right.
This is the first time we've actually been here.
Oh, okay. glad you made the trip. So, very exciting. So, all right. Well, thank you for stopping by and chatting with us. All right. Thank you. When you're not being called Minion, what do you like to call yourself?
Nick.
Nick.
Yes,
Okay.
my name's Nick.
Okay. Oh. And you're a volunteer here at
Yep.
Who North America?
Sure am.
So how long have you been?
I've known him about a year now.
Okay.
Yep. I saw last year for that indie PopCon they had a big thing on the internet asking for volunteers, and I volunteered, and
You've been coming back.
Yeah, they fell
ever
in love
since.
with me, so they're not letting me leave yet.
Well, hopefully the feeling is mutual.
Yes, I love them. They're good people.
They are.
They're very good people.
They are. So, and I would assume that since you're volunteering here that you are a Doctor Who fan, because otherwise that would be weird.
Yes, yes I am.
So, and, you a longtime fan, a new?
More recent, just maybe a little over a year.
Okay.
A friend of mine tried to get me to watch the Eccleston series on Netflix, and I watched like the first two and could not get into them at all. And then there was someone I was actually dating who was huge into Doctor Who, and I talked her into letting me take her to see the 50th anniversary when it was on at the theaters, and I saw that, and it was just really good. I was like, man, I need to give this another try. So I went back and watched through it, and it's like, man, I really like this.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of addicted ever since.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. With the 50th, obviously you're aware of the long history. Have you dipped your toe in the water of the older stuff yet? Or
yeah, I've watched some.
Some of
what's available on Netflix.
Yeah.
So and that's kind of hit or miss what's available.
It is, and the list keeps shrinking every time I go on there. So which is unfortunate. Yeah, I did the same thing. I started with Eccleston, and I think I got like three episodes in, and I just couldn't do it. But then my husband started watching, and he got further along, and kept watching. I'm like, okay, now I feel left out. So I picked it back up again, and by the time I hit Eccleston's run, I'm like, yes, I'm going to watch all of it.
Well, I got real lucky because one of my best friends, the one that tried to get me into it, his wife bought him the big collector set that had all the special features and all the behind the scenes stuff. Yeah. So when I decided to rewatch it, he's like, well, here, just borrow this, and hand me the big box set. So I was able to eat all the behind the scenes stuff and just devour it. So that helped the addiction along too.
Yeah. So and volunteering here is I'm sure opened your eyes to
oh yeah. Yeah, because when I first showed up here, I'd not seen very much, so they'd start talking about this doctor, that doctor, and use the actor's actual name, and I'm like, lots of that going on.
Yeah.
And now I sit there and I rattle off names and stuff too.
Right. Yeah. You come to someplace like this and you realize just how big the fandom actually is.
I know.
And volunteer things like the conventions, and see people in costume and all that, and you're like, okay, well, I'm not alone.
Yeah, it's like, I don't feel quite so weird now.
Power in numbers.
Yes.
So, all right.
A little chanting, one of us.
Exterminate.
Yes.
Alonzi.
Yeah. There we go.
So, alrighty then. So volunteer. I've talked to a couple of the volunteers. So, is this something that would you, since volunteering, have you tried to spread the word, and if you managed to get anybody else? Not necessarily volunteering, but if you managed to bring other people into the Whovian fold, from your experience here, because I would imagine that this, volunteering at some place like this gives you a unique perspective.
Yeah, it does. I don't think I've converted anyone.
Why not?
Because all my friends have always
are already converted.
It's like I come from all my friends are all nerds and geeks anyway.
Yeah.
And I was like the one holdout after seeing a little bit, like, no, I don't need to watch that. So
Yeah.
now they're just all kind of excited that I watch it. you know,
Yeah.
so I can talk to them about it.
Yeah. That's.
But a lot of them didn't know this place existed. So
Oh, yeah.
a lot of them was like, wait, North America?
Yeah.
What?
There's a place I can go?
Yeah, so
Wait.
they're kind of cool about that.
Not
'cause-
just a website.
Yeah. So they can come here. So they're kind of glad that I volunteered because they know this place exists now.
Yeah. 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 That's good. So, alrighty then. Well, thank you for stopping by, Minion. I will let you get back to your minioning.
All right.
If that's a proper term.
We'll go with
If it's not, I just made it up.
Yes.
So,
Copyright, right?
yeah, copyright me. Sold. All right. Thank you.
I'm Jonathan Wilson.
Okay. Oh, and you're here at Who North America, just hanging out. Is there?
I hang around here like every month.
Okay.
For quite a while now.
That seems to be a common thing with some of the people who come here practically every month. It's like Cheers or something. You walk in the door, Norm. So, and you are. Have you been a Doctor Who fan for a long time? Newer?
Well, I just started back when I was in college when I saw one of the Eccleston episodes and like, oh, this looks interesting, and then I guess like somewhere around those between like a month or so, and then I watched another episode. It's like, they already went to the tenant that I'm like, that's supposed to be the same guy. Like they changed actors. Like that's the same guy. I mean, I kind of got confused, but then I met some buddies who are more familiar with Doctor Who than I am. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. He regenerates every time an actor starts to leave. Okay, makes sense. And little did I know there were like 9 other doctors or 8 other doctors, and so I was all like, yeah, that's a lot catching up to do. But yeah, let's see. I think I'm almost caught up. I'm just missing like 2 more 7th Doctor episodes. So.
Wow, cool. Wow. Yeah, I'm not even that caught up. I don't think so. So, but that's good that you're watching. That you've also gotten to watch some of the classic stuff as well. So, and you're liking it as old versus new. Do you?
I mean, I really can't. I really can't pick out of all of them. I just usually have to go with all of them. Just
all of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they all have their own, own special thing about them.
Like the 2nd Doctor. That's why I was really got more offensive because he just has that personality.
Yeah.
Like, he just like especially with him and Jamie, they just have like this Sherlock Holmes and Watson type of thing going on.
A little bit, yeah.
And of course, we got to the 3rd Doctor. He's like he's kind of like this suave character and all that stuff. And the 4th Doctor, he's just he's like a special kind of. It's like
yes, that's the word we're gonna use. He's special.
Like he's a special kind of special. Or,
yeah.
Or at least that's how the saying goes. I can't recall, but it's just.
Yeah.
It's just like further down. It's just it becomes very difficult which is your favorites because they're all so unique. They're never the same.
Yeah. I understand that. So you can find something to like out of all of them.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, okay then. Well, thank you for stopping by and chatting. So thank you very much.
All right, no problem.
All right. Well, what's your name? Sophia. How old are you? 5.
It's almost my birthday.
Oh, really?
After Easter.
Oh, yeah? Are you excited?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you ask for Doctor Who stuff for your birthday? No?
Happy surprise.
Oh, it's going to be a surprise. Yeah. Well, that's fair enough, I guess. So, do you like watching the Doctor? Yeah. Do you have a favorite?
2.
2 doctors? Which ones? Bow tie. Yeah.
No.
The old one.
No. The old one. She's describing Capaldi.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Well, I guess in her eyes, Peter Capaldi is probably quite old. I'm sure he's well aware that that's the way he
she loves,
is perceived.
She loves masked men.
Oh, yeah. Is he silly? You like because he's silly? The one with the bow tie? Yeah.
And I also think the reason she loves Matt Smith and Capaldi is because they both have Clara. And that's her favorite.
Oh, yeah. You like Clara? Yeah.
What do you like most about Doctor Who, Squee? I knew it. She loves the Daleks. What do the Daleks do?
Destroy. I don't blame you. I like the Daleks too. The Daleks do not scare me. I think they're fun. Yeah. What do you like about Clara?
You don't know?
You don't know?
I don't know.
Yeah. It's because she's smart. She put the Doctor in his place when he acts up. Yeah.
Doctor destroys dogs.
Yeah, the Doctor does destroy Daleks. So.
How about they just go to a planet?
Say what?
They go to a planet.
Yeah, they do go to planets. Yeah.
How about the dogs go to a planet and the Doctor destroys the planet?
Yeah.
He destroyed the Daleks.
Yes, he did.
All the bad guys go there.
Yeah.
So they won't destroy the world.
Yeah. That's
Who are
true.
some of the other bad guys?
Daleks.
That's it?
Daleks.
The robots.
The Cybermen?
Yeah.
What about the,
The like spider huggers that like on their faces and they dream.
She's seen...
Oh, from the Christmas
no,
event.
She's seen the, well, yeah, that one. But she's seen, Perjury's last episode.
Oh, Planet of Spiders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She loved that.
Oh,
I
really?
was very surprised.
Wow, I don't like spiders.
Santa.
Yeah, so Santa was in the Christmas one.
Yeah, we really liked. We watched that one several times.
You like the Christmas one?
Elves were bad guys.
No, I don't think the elves were bad guys. They were a bit rude.
Yeah.
That means they're bad guys.
That means they're bad guys. Well, if that's the case, then the 10th Doctor would be a bad guy too, because he's rude and not ginger.
I got my sister watching it. She started last weekend, and she's been watching on Netflix.
Who's your sister?
Your aunt. She just now started the Matt Smith. She's already watched the first 4 seasons in a week.
Oh, yeah. That sounds about right. Yeah.
Mama.
You're on?
You're silly. Aunt Amy started watching this week. She got a toy TARDIS at home.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I got tattoos at home.
Oh, yeah?
I'm serious.
I'm hoping they're temporary tattoos. Stick-on kinds.
They're from Christmas.
Yeah.
They're from my friends at school.
Yeah.
I go to kindergarten.
Yeah. Do you have friends that like Doctor Who?
They're all my friends.
Yeah. Do your friends like? Do they like what? They like Doctor Who?
I think they don't know Doctor.
They don't know. Well, you should tell them. You should tell them all about it. Tell them about the Daleks and bow ties and Clara. Yeah. I bet they would like it. They just don't know.
Clara.
Yes.
When I got her to watch it, I said, she was like, no, I don't watch that. It doesn't look fun. And I said, well, I'll start it, and if you don't like it, then you can go upstairs and play with your toys. And she was glued to the TV. It was great. I was like, yes.
Parenting, you're doing it right. Alrighty. Well, I'll let you go back to coloring. How's that?
You ready to go get haircut, Sophia?
No.
No?
I want to stay here. And
Play with the toys and color and
talk.
talk. So.
That's what I want to do.
Okay.
Okay, I'm Megan.
Okay. All right. So, and you're second generation Whovian apparently here.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
here with your dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a big Tom Baker fan.
Okay.
And
So.
I'm a little bit more towards 8.
Okay.
8, 9.
All right. All right. So, yeah. Did you find it on your own, or is he responsible?
I found it on my own, and then I started watching it. You kind of, did you recognize it?
Oh,
Speak up, Dad. Come on here. So, so you found it and.
Oh yeah, I always find it kind of funny. I didn't like it at first, and then I wasn't busy. I had nothing to do.
Mhm.
I needed something to do, so I started watching Netflix. Started watching Doctor Who, and I think I finished the first season probably within 24 hours.
Yeah. And you've been hooked ever since.
Oh yeah.
So, all right. Yeah. And then, do you have a favorite
Episode or Doctor?
Doctor episode companion?
It's a tie between 8 and 9 for favorite Doctor.
No. You're the first person so far that said 8.
It's kind of hard. You get the movie and then you get the audio. So you
Yes.
don't get anything else.
Yeah. Oh, all right. And if you've seen the movie, have you watched some of the other older?
I've watched some of the older. I've gotten through all of the news. I'm kind of trying to go back and go watch all the old Who.
Old Who, which there's a lot of it. You can spend.
They used to do showings
Hours.
here, so I at least can say I've seen an episode for each Doctor.
Yes. Yeah.
I met 2. Is it 2 doctors? Yeah, from that 2 doctors. I met Peter Davidson and I met Matt Smith.
Nice.
I'm hoping to meet all the living ones eventually, but I've already missed 2 more because I wasn't able to go to the conventions they were at.
Yeah. Yeah. So, been there. I haven't met Matt. Oh, I haven't met any of the new era doctors yet. So, but I have met Peter Davison. So I've met 5, 6, 7, and 8. So, and several of the classic companions. And then I saw Jenna a couple weeks ago at Indiana Comic Con.
Yeah,
So
I want to start with the companions, but I also kind of focus on the doctors too.
yeah. So that's understandable. So, and is this your first visit here to the shop,
Oh,
or
no,
no?
we've been here a while.
Yeah, okay. No. And you stumbled across the shop just looking for Who merchandise. That seems to be how a lot of people discovered the shop.
I
Is
think they had an ad in one of the magazines or something, and I saw it, and then I just looked around the website and I realized, wait a second, it's here in Indy.
yeah.
And then we came up for one of the open houses, and then I think we signed up for the mailing list. We started going to the tilt showings,
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of went from there.
Coming ever since.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I like your tattoo.
Oh, yeah, tattoo.
So, that's very cool. Alrighty then. Well, Dad, you want to inject anything here? No.
Oh, I did it.
So, are you a proud parent because you got your
yes.
progeny into Doctor Who? No.
And this doctor's up there. He's probably 3rd or 4th on my list.
Yeah. Yeah. that seems to be a common thing. Is if it's it seems to be generational. Whether the parent was into it and then their kids got into it because the parent was into it, or sometimes it's the other way around. The kid discovers it and the parent gets into it by.
Wasn't it kind of both with us? Because you had watched it, but I think you mostly focused on 4 and you kind of stopped watching it, obviously.
Yeah. And you brought me back into the
Oh,
fold.
yeah. Yanked you back in. You weren't getting away.
Yeah. He is sucked back in. You're never leaving. Oh, all right. Well, it's good that you have that in common, that you can.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was fun getting the tattoo, too. My first tattoos, I've got him, I've got my mother.
Well, the funny thing was, he's prone to fainting when he gets tattoos, and I was afraid I would be like him.
Oh.
So we brought sweet snacks, and of course we brought Jelly Babies.
Of course.
Meeting Jelly Babies, getting the TARDIS tattoo.
Alrighty then. Well, thank you for stopping by.
Definitely.
My name's Charity.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're how old are you?
I'm
If you don't mind
12.
me asking. 12? All right. Cool. So I'm getting Whovians of all ages. I had a little girl in here earlier. She's
My
5.
brother's 8, and he's been a Hoovian since he's about 6.
Oh yeah.
Not a big Hoovian, but Hoovian.
Yeah. So how did you discover Doctor Who?
Actually, I was online on a forum, and I so many times I've seen people with Doctor Who in their signature, and I'm like, okay. And later I'm like, I'm watching on Netflix, and then one of the suggestions is Doctor. I'm like, why not? And so I watched it, and yeah, sort of got a little obsession with it. Very, very tiny, almost non-existent.
Gesture. Is this your mother here?
No, it's my grandma.
Oh, your grandma. She's gesturing the little. She's got her arms spread far apart. That's the little football field little.
Earth little.
Earth little.
Sun little.
Yeah. So do you have a favorite Doctor?
David Tennant.
David Tennant. I think you're the first person I've had that Tennant was her favorite. No, I had one other person that was a Tennant fan. So
I thought David Tennant was the most popular Doctor in the new series.
he is.
Yeah.
I think he may be one of the most popular Doctors in the entire series.
Well,
actually,
then there's Tom Baker.
Yeah, there's Tom Baker. So I think it depends on.
Jelly
Yeah, I think it depends on the age of the people you poll.
Yeah.
Depending on which one wins. So, okay. And if you watched any of the classic series?
Oh, yeah. I'm on the Aztecs Part 5.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, some of those classic stories, you're like, Part 6, Part 7, Part 284.
Part 1798.
Yeah, it's like, okay, is this story going to end ever?
No, it's not.
So,
the Doctor Who will never end.
Well, yes, that's true. So, but yeah.
Because the Doctor never dies.
Well, that's true. And
thanks to Amy Pond's crack.
Yeah.
I worded that wrong.
New set of regenerations. So, oh, cool. And is this your first visit to Who North America? Have you ever been here before? Or?
It's my first visit.
First visit? All right. And how did you discover it? Online or?
Actually, I was at Spencer's looking at Doctor Who merchandise, and this one girl, I started talking to her about Doctor Who. Well, then I found out about the store because her dad mentioned it, so.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we Googled it, didn't we, so we could get the address.
Yeah. So, and have you had a chance to wander around yet?
Oh, yeah, I've been wandering around for ages.
Going, I will
I'm more
take that, and I'll
wanderer than the
take
Doctor.
that, and I'll take that, and I'll take that.
More wanderer than the Doctor.
Yeah. That is not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
Wandering is a good thing. So.
The Doctor said so himself.
Yep, exactly. So, all right. Well, cool. Well, thank you for stopping by and chatting.
Rachel Summers.
No.
Bloomington.
Okay. Bloomington. So you're somewhat local. You're not too far away. All right, cool. So, and you're obviously Whovian, based on your shirt. So, would I be correct in assuming that Tennant is your favorite?
I like Christopher Eccleston.
Oh, yeah.
But Tennant's my second favorite.
Second favorite, yeah. Well, and then he's got the really good hair that makes for a good shirt. Shirt design too. So, and have you been a fan for long?
I don't know, maybe 2 years.
Okay, so not too long. Actually, about the same length as me, actually. Surprisingly enough. So, and you discovered it through friends or just Netflix suggested it to you?
I saw a lot on Pinterest.
Pinterest, all right. Well, that's a first.
I saw a lot of stuff. And so I was like, well, I should watch it. It was over the summer, so I was like, well, I don't do anything else, so.
I've got time.
Yeah.
All right. Pinterest, that is a first. I've not heard that.
There's a lot of stuff about it.
Well,
actually,
yeah. I mean, I'm
so-
on Pinterest, and I've got a Doctor Who board on my Pinterest, but that's alrighty then. And is this your first visit to Who North America?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were at Comic Con too. We were wanting to go for a couple months, but we haven't been up in the area.
No. Yeah. Cool. Alrighty then. So you went to Comic Con obviously, and did you get to meet any of the? Was it this year's or last year's that you went to?
This
year's.
but we were there on Friday, so.
Oh, okay, so you didn't get to see Jenna.
Mm-mm.
No. Darn, she's so cute. She is adorable. She's like a kitten or chipmunk or something. Just, oh. Well, that's too bad. But maybe next time. So hopefully we didn't scare her off coming to these things and she comes back. Excuse me. So, you have friends that are into it as well.
Yeah, I told them about it after I watched a couple episodes, and it took a couple months of convincing them, but now.
You got them converted.
Yes.
So, good. We're like the Cybermen that way. You will be converted, or you will be deleted. All right. Cool. And have you blinking now? Lost my train of thought. That happens. This is why we edit. Nice shoes. Chucks band together. Alrighty then. And have you had a chance to walk around and see the shop yet, or did you get sucked in here as soon as you walked in the door?
We already looked around and got all of our stuff.
Oh, okay. Cool. Good. Well, hopefully you get to. This won't be your only visit. So. And,
Bring groups now.
yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of people that like they're here every month just to come and hang out. Like, you know, they usually would be showing stuff in here, but I've taken over the room, so maybe next time you come in and watch whatever it is that they're showing on the screen. And of course, the other conventions that they'll be at as well. You plan on attending any of the other conventions, PopCon or?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be at Gen Con.
You'll be at Gen Con. No. I don't know if they're going to try and get anybody for Gen Con, but I know for PopCon they just announced they got Sophie Aldred. So as the guest ace from the 7th Doctor era too. And if you watch Torchwood, John Delancey is going to be a guest at PopCon as well. So most people know him from Star Trek or My Little Pony, depending on what your tastes are. But you know, if you ever watch Torchwood, he was on Torchwood Miracle Day as well. So one very obvious Who related guest and one not so obvious Who related guest. So, but yeah, if you have, you know, I didn't know, you know, if you got to attend PopCon last year, but you know, if you can attend this year, do it because it's a really nice con. You know, put together really well, and of course, you know, these guys will be. This year it's at the end of June. So, yeah. But it's a newer con. Last year was their first year, but almost everybody was just like, this is like the best con ever. So it was really well put together. I mean, they put a lot of thought into it. So, and yeah, of course, we'll have Doctor Who guests again this year, so that'll be exciting. So hopefully, with any luck, maybe you'll get to attend that. I will be there. They will be there. So should be fun. All right.
Discussing going to that at Comic Con because they were handing out like brochure.
Postcards or something. Yeah. So, cool. All right. Well, thank you for chatting with me. So.
Hi, I'm Melissa.
All right. And you're new Whovian, old school Whovian, long term, short term?
Long term.
Long term?
Yeah. I watched old school stuff terribly out of sequence on our local PBS station growing up, and then it took a while for me to see the new ones because I didn't have the right channel, and then once I did, I was hooked again.
Oh yeah. Good. And obviously, the new era just had a significant birthday, 10 years, so, which is crazy to think that, a show that just had its 50th birthday, that an entire, section of the show has a secondary milestone like that, which is very cool.
It seems appropriate for a show about time travel.
Well, yes, that is true. And that wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey. Since you watch old Who with new Who, or classic and new Who, whatever you want to call it, what do you think of new versus the? I mean, it's kind of apples to oranges a bit because of the time that it's being produced. Obviously, they have bigger budgets and stuff now, and computer special effects, but
I think with the new one, the main thing that I noticed is they had a lot longer and more involved story arcs than what I remembered. And I know it's because the times change and things like that, but sometimes I do kind of wish they'd go back to the rubber monster of the week, in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand what you're saying. There's something very endearing about the monsters made of rubber and the sets made out of cardboard and bubble wrap and saran wrap.
Exactly. And, it doesn't necessarily have to be a rubber monster every week, but I think kind of in the same way why I liked the Monster of the Week story arcs or episodes of the X-Files is after a while it just kind of gets tiring, and if you miss something, then you've missed something and you don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
so
yeah. That's understandable.
Just to have a shorter attention span these days.
Well, it could be that too. I think that's a sign of the times, Short attention spans, explosion, something shiny. Although with the classic series, not necessarily, long season-long story arcs, Amy's cracking her wall or Bad Wolf and all that, but the classic series does have some stories that are several episodes long. I think the longest is the Daleks Master Plan or the Chase, or it's 10 stories, 10 episodes long, which I know the first time I watched it, I was like, I got into 7 or 8. I'm like, is it over yet? Defeat the Daleks already, Doctor.
Yeah. Although then again, those were also the shorter episodes
yes.
at that point.
Yeah.
So maybe we're condensing more per episode here.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. So, do you have a particular favorite, or is it like trying to pick a favorite child?
Yeah, I think so. I don't really have a favorite Doctor because it seems that every time it would change, I'd go, I'm nervous for about an episode, but then I realized that my brain has accepted that that's the Doctor. So on we go.
Yeah. So, and are you enjoying Capaldi's Doctor?
I am. Now, I will admit, and I don't know whether my Who card has to be revoked for this.
We'll see.
Because I don't have TV, I am a little behind, so I've only seen half of the last season.
Oh, okay.
But I've been enjoying what I've been
seeing.
Well,
that's good. No, I really enjoyed his Doctor from the first, from Deep Breath. I was like, yes, they did a good job. They picked the right guy.
Yeah.
So, and I'm interested to see, what they do with the upcoming season. So, which should be fun. So, and I totally understand with not having TV. I don't have TV either. So, thank goodness for the internet.
Yeah.
And generous friends.
Exactly.
Otherwise, I'd be way behind. So, which is a good thing, I think, in this day and age. You know, the technology and all that. We're able to,
Yeah, it's not like before where if you missed it, well, you're
too
just
bad.
out of luck.
Yeah,
You have
may
to
get lucky, and they may rerun it at some point.
depend
And
on secondhand accounts.
yeah, swapping
I
VHS
swear they
tapes.
totally did this.
Yeah.
You should've seen it.
People mailing each other VHS tapes. Yeah. I've heard stories of people like getting like 5th generation recordings, like a VHS tape has been copied and copied. It's like, this is a bit scratchy, but I'm gonna watch it anyway. So, but yeah.
In a way, I actually kind of like the fact that I haven't completed it yet.
Mhm.
It's kind of like how I have unread books on my bookshelf.
Mhm.
The potential is
The
there.
potential is there.
And then I don't have to sit and wait in real time with everybody to wait for something new to come along. 'Cause
Yes.
then you go, well, all right, well, let's pull this up and watch it.
Yeah. And have you gotten into the extended media, like the Big Finish audios and the books and all that?
I haven't. It's been on kind of my to-do
Do
list,
list, yeah.
and there's so many things on my to-do list that it just kind of keeps getting bumped back.
Yeah. Well, and the list keeps getting longer. They keep coming out with more and more, secondary media that's not just the TV show. So you reach that point where you get caught up and you need your fix. The nice thing is that there is so much more to keep you going, especially with the Big Finish audios.
Mhm.
They're so well done, so well done, and you could jump in there almost anywhere too. I would, if you had a favorite doctor, you could jump in with that particular doctor. Otherwise, you could just pick a doctor and start probably with their first story and go with it. So there's companions in Big Finish that don't appear on TV. So you kind of want to stay somewhat in order when you're getting involved with a new doctor companion relationship that you're not familiar with, that's not from the straight out of the TV show. But otherwise, once you get there. You'll be able to keep yourself busy. So, no, I'm not a big fan of the Big Finish. My wallet is not, but I am. Alrighty then. So, well, thank you for stopping by and chatting with me. So, really appreciate it. All right, fantastic. Thank you.
My name is Jeremy.
Okay. And are you what's your relationship to the Doctor?
Well, it began, oddly enough, with the Doctor Who movie.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really? That's not a response I've gotten yet.
And I had a friend of mine who was very much an avid fan of Doctor Who, and he was excited to see the movie, and then we saw it. We were not as impressed as we were hoping to be. But introduced me to the Doctor, and then I saw a few of the earlier episodes in the interim, and then finally, randomly, I was at my parents' place looking for something on TV at the time, and found the new iteration of Doctor Who. And it was very intriguing. And then I started watching it, and then watching more, and got hooked once more.
Yeah.
And since then, I've been an avid fan. And I will say that I've noticed many subtle differences with even the current stuff, as there were. You can watch it evolve over time. And I'm still a fan. I'm still watching it. If I were to say if I have a favorite Doctor, I'd probably still be under the either David Tennant, or I actually really enjoyed Christopher Eccleston. I really liked his adventurous spirit he brought. But I mean, the new ones aren't bad. It's just I think possibly because I was reintroduced with Christopher Eccleston, but it's I do enjoy it. I'm not like with the current companions versus older companions. Clara isn't necessarily my personal favorite because I think there's too much focus on her and not on the Doctor.
Mhm.
But that's a personal preference of mine.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone has said anything yet about that, or you've heard anyone say anything about that.
I'm not personally, but I've seen that mentioned, you know, on like Facebook and all that. That the focus on the companion is a bit disconcerting to some people, and there are some people that just don't like Clara, regardless of how much she's focused. But I mean, you're not going to like all of it all the time.
Right.
So
I like the general concept and what that she can do as an actress.
Mhm.
However, I've seen interviews with Jenna Louise Coleman where she'll just tell you, well, Clara thinks she's the star of the show.
Mhm.
And I still think the star of the show should be the Doctor.
Yeah.
Now, whether they eventually want to change how they do the Doctor in the future, that's up to them. But I will admit I'm also more of a fan of the earlier stories than the later stories.
Mhm.
But that goes along with the current stories. They do seem to have I don't know. There's something that just doesn't seem as exciting, and I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what it is. Maybe it could be just personal preference.
Mhm.
But for
it
some,
might be.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is
Yeah.
just, you know, there's some people that they go into, you know, they have the mindset that any who is good who.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's some people that they are very, very protective of their doctor or doctor companion combination. You know, there's whatever combo you want to pick. You know, there's some people that it's For and Sarah Jane, and that's the be all to end all. You know, and then there's it runs the gamut. You know, from one end to the other. But I think that's a testament to the show itself.
Yes.
That you can get, you know, it's varied enough that, you know, somebody's going to find at least something in it that they enjoy. And whether they, you know, they get to the point where it's just absolute obsession, you know, that's an individual thing, but there seems to be something, pick an era in the last 50 years or 52 years, you know, that now that we're almost to, and you know, you're gonna find something that you're gonna like. So, which is I think a great thing. You know, I know that wasn't the intention when they created it, but you know, it was supposed to be a sci-fi show for little kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's grown into this thing that, you know, it's, you know, it's more than a TV show. It's a community is what it is.
The advent of the internet has brought many new communities.
Oh yeah.
And that's where things are going and how people see their niches now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah. But it's you know, with the internet and social media and all that, it's great because you know, before, you know, I've talked to some people that are of, you know, the older club, and you know, they did not realize just how big the fandom was, because you may get to go to the occasional convention or, you know, something, or you know, a comic book, your local comic book shop may carry something, and you may run into fans, but otherwise, you know, with the power of the internet now, and you know, the conventions getting bigger and everything, that it's just it's allowing the fandom to grow exponentially, but at the same time it's allowing it to thread together more.
And one of my favorite things about it is it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the big thing.
Yeah.
And that's really what I think most other people see, is it's fun.
Yeah.
And
it's fun for all ages.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which is a good thing too. I had somebody earlier that said, you know, it's I know I can watch it with my kids,
Mm-hmm.
and my biggest concern is whether they'll get scared.
Yes.
But
Especially recently.
Yeah. I mean, there's no concern about cursing or extreme
Yes.
violence or nudity or anything like that. So which is great. So all right, cool. Well, thank you for chatting with me here.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome. So
It's nice to. One of the things I really like also is that we have this Who North America here,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
the ability to find all the neat little things
Mm-hmm.
that you may not even realize you're looking for, but you're like, oh wow, that exists.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I know that that they have said that it's more. They want the shop to be more than just a shop
It
and a
is.
place to get merchandise. That it is
Yes.
a place for fans to
Exactly.
connect and
And for us to have something like this.
Yeah, and to just sitting here. I mean, I've been to the shop a couple times, but not this amount of time. Like I've come in and shopped and left, but to come in here and hang out and just to meet the people that come every month, and then there's the people that are like, I just I discovered it and I drove in from Ohio, and they just want to come and hang out. So.
Once you've seen the Dalek.
Well, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. The Dalek and the TARDIS.
Yes.
So,
We have a group of people playing the games now. They got organized and now they have a group of kids playing the Dalek.
The game. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so you're fine. So. All right. Thank you.
My name is Jay Hinkleman. I'm a local. I'm not originally from this area, but I moved here in around 1990 and
Okay.
was ecstatic to find this place because, especially in the old days of the show, it was just so hard to find any kind of merchandise at all.
Yeah.
It's a little easier now with some of the online sources, but it's better here to be able to go and actually physically touch the merchandise.
Yeah.
And take a look at all the different options.
Yeah.
And we've gotten my son, who has never actually watched the show because he's very young.
Yeah.
But he knows a little bit about it. He knows to recognize the TARDIS and Daleks and things like that. And we've gotten some of the faux Legos.
Oh yeah.
The what is it, character building?
Oh,
I think
yeah.
is the company
Yeah.
that makes them. They still have some here actually.
Yeah.
But
Real Lego is coming.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Which is awesome. And I haven't played with Legos in 20 years, but I need them. Once those Legos are on the market, I'm going to need to buy them.
Well, the funny thing is that the character options, when they made theirs, they sculpted the faces and such, to actually look like, the various actors and what have you. Whereas Lego has their design that they're going to follow. It's like no.
Little yellow head and
with a caricature face painted on it, and
Yeah.
so it's actually they will look less like the originals than the faux ones did. But
Yeah.
that's okay because they probably stay together better.
Yes.
So
probably.
The character option ones are not bad, but they can't use the patented stud design that Lego managed to get a patent on. So anyway, so hi.
Hi.
Where were we?
That was 30 seconds of Lego talk. So you've been a fan for a long time.
When the show celebrated its 50th anniversary, I celebrated my 30th anniversary as a fan.
Oh yeah.
So I started watching the show It was right around 1983, actually.
Okay.
Because I'm from the Chicago area.
Okay.
And at the time, they would show Doctor Who on the local PBS station on WTTW very late at night, on Sunday nights, like at 11 o'clock. Hi, buddy. That's my son.
Yeah.
And they were, as a lot of PBS stations did, it kind of depended where you lived, but in Chicago they were very much for a lot of times stuck on the Pertwee and Baker reruns.
Mm-hmm.
And I came along to the show and got introduced. I don't remember who was who mentioned it to me, but I started watching it. They were showing the middle Tom Baker years, like right around the end of Sarah Jane, beginning of Leela.
Okay.
But at the same time, I started looking at magazines, and I was like, who's this other person? Who's this Davison fellow? Who actually, in a lot of ways, wound up being, they talk about, who's your doctor.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, Davison wound up sort of being my doctor, even though I was introduced to the show with Tom Baker.
Right.
Davison kind of wound up being sort of my doctor. I don't know how exactly that happened, but it was just the right time.
Yeah.
I really David is really still in a lot of ways still my favorite of the classics, of the classic era Doctors. So plus he's a genuinely funny guy.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I have a really vague memory. They say they didn't air it in Chicago before they started trying the Tom Baker ones in the early 80s. But I have very specific memories of when I was very, very young, seeing what I now recognize as John Pertwee era stories.
Oh, okay.
Because I have really strong memories of, it was one of the Auton stories.
Okay.
And it freaked me out. And it was Inferno where they saw all the lava coming for them, and that freaked me out. I was a very easily freaked out kid. So my initial 2 experiences with Doctor Who were like these. My parents have no recollection of this, but I do. And yeah, I was very, very frightened. I totally get the hide behind the sofa aspect.
Yeah.
For little kids, I totally get that.
Yeah.
So my wife is currently struggling to open up a Mr. Potato Head Dalek for my son.
That is a very cool toy.
Look, he's adorable.
Yeah. Of course.
But I'm really kind of hoping to see. I'm hoping they won't move too far from this area. We live up on the northeast side, so it's a little bit of a drive to get here, but not too bad. And I'm really hoping to see that they get another space that's just as good as this one, a little bigger, able to expand the museum a little bit.
Yeah, that's what they're working towards.
Yeah. So it's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear my son.
Yeah.
Maybe before we leave, buddy.
Yeah.
Maybe we can play that again before we leave. But I've got a friend here in Indy who has built a police box out on his front lawn, and he recently remade his computer room. He went through did a huge construction project. He's been remaking his house on the inside anyway. But recently remade his entire computer room to look like a console room. It's got a 6-sided desk in the middle with the time rotor going up and down.
Nice.
He's got a big projector screen in there so we can watch movies or whatever. It's his computer room / guest room.
Awesome.
Yes, it actually has the police box doors on the outside, so you open it up and there's the console room on the inside.
Oh.
And I'm thinking this is a good excuse to shoot
Ideas.
a fan film. I'm thinking I need to shoot a fan film.
Do something. Wow. That's cool. So, and like you said, your son really hasn't watched it, but I mean,
it's where I don't, we're sort of debating whether or not when he'll be old enough, because he's got a form of autism and he doesn't really communicate all that well, so it's a little hard to explain things to him, and it's a little harder than it would be with a typical kid his age, but. I don't know. Lately he's been watching like Big Hero 6 and things like that. I think if you can handle those, you can probably handle most Who.
Yeah.
The runner is safe.
Right now he's fixated on Chicken Little, but never mind.
He's safe.
Yeah.
The runner is safe.
All right. Cool.
So anyway, my wife is good enough to come with me to these things. She's not as much of a fan as I am.
Sounds like me and my husband.
Yeah. Well, she will watch the show with me, and yeah. I seem to recall you telling me that at the end of season 2 you bawled like a baby. Yes, you did.
Story.
It's okay. I did too. I still can't watch it. I watched Doomsday once, and I can't get myself to watch it again. Yeah. My husband I remember watching it too. My husband was right next to me, and I'm like bawling. He's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Rose and the Doctor is just stuck in a parallel universe. They're never gonna see each other ever again." He's like, "Yeah, you're crazy."
But, I'm sad to admit I still haven't actually finished this first Peter Capaldi season because the normal route that I had for we don't have cable at home, so the normal route that I had for getting episodes I didn't really have at the time. We were having some computer problems, and so now I've got the DVDs. I just have to finish watching the season yet. I've only gotten up through What's the episode where it's I think it's called Listen?
Yes.
Yeah, I've only gotten up through that one, which was
Yeah.
really interesting. I actually want to watch that one again before I move on.
Yeah, that's one of
There's
those
a
one
lot-
you almost
there's a
need
lot
to, you
to
need
that
to
one.
watch it a couple of times
Yeah.
to try and figure out but yeah, you could try and figure out what's going on, but I think they left some of it ambiguous just to probably leave the doors open for stuff down the road too, more knowing Moffat more than anything. So
Well, I've got an acquaintance back closer to home right now who has been, apparently a lot of her friends have been trying to get her to watch this show, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
I mean, right now it's the ultimate question is always, well, what are we? It's always what?
Exterminate.
That's right. He knows. He gets it. Is where do you start them off with? You know,
Yeah.
you start off with
that
Blake
that
or Rose
that
or the
is
11th
hour.
yeah that
I'm
is
I'm a big fan of the 11th hour as a starting point myself,
Yeah.
because I think that episode is just so it has everything you could possibly want in a starting episode, really.
yeah. That's one of those questions that you could poll 1,000 people and probably get 1,000 different answers.
Oh yes, I'm sure it's already been done.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. He is really enjoying that.
He is.
I don't blame him though. It looks like fun.
He's
I wanna
sitting
play.
He's sitting there playing with a doll, like but quoting the Jungle Book, which I find.
Child's imagination.
That's right.
Wow. And then Mom breaks it.
It's hard to break a Mr. Potato Head.
Well, yes, that's true.
You have to like shove macaroni and cheese into it to break it, really. I think, honestly.
I'm not gonna ask. Alrighty then. Well, I will let you get back to playing with Mr. Potato Head here. So exterminate.
Howard, you want to be on the radio? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Say hi.
Hi.
You can say it louder. What does a Dalek say?
Exterminate!
Yeah.
Good job.
Good job.
Exterminate!
Yeah.
He's got that down.
Exterminate!
Well, thank you very much.
No, thank you. Thank you for stopping and
For me, the
chatting.
least interesting interview all day.
Bye.
My name's Jennifer.
Okay. All right. And you're friends with Janie here.
Minion in training.
Minion in training. So we've had a few of the minions on already. So, but you're a minion in training.
Yeah.
So, and obviously you're a Whovian, because that would be weird if you weren't. I guess you could be a Trekkie in disguise, trying to infiltrate.
No, not a Trekkie.
No.
No.
So, have you been a Doctor Who fan for a long time, or
No, not
fairly
really.
new?
My son actually got us all started into Doctor Who. My oldest son is 16,
Oh, okay.
and he said, "Mom, there's this fantastic show that you've got to watch. You've got to see it. You're gonna love it." And I watched the very first episode of the new seasons with Eccleston,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Really, really, Israel?" He's like, "No, it gets better. I promise. You've got to watch a few more episodes." And his birthday was in February, and not this year, but the year before. And I found out about the Doctor Who warehouse,
Mhm.
and for a surprise, I brought him here for his birthday.
Oh, okay.
And he had no idea that this place existed, and
Really?
we'd never been here.
Nice.
So he was just beyond just mesmerized with everything. And so then after that, I had spoken to one of the other little minions here, and and he was like, "You've got to watch," because I told him that I'd watched that first episode, and I was like, "Okay, this is cheesy." And he was like, "You have to watch The Girl in the Fireplace and The Doctor Dances." He said, "If you watch those 2 episodes, I promise you'll be hooked." And he was absolutely right. So I went home and I watched those, and I was like, okay. And so I went back and watched the other ones, and just it started from there. And so yeah, so we became fans that way, and my other kids too. We all kind of watch it as a family thing, and with season 8, it was a big deal. Every Saturday night, it was like popcorn. Let's all sit around and watch
Doctor Who. Yeah, that's good. That's cool that that's a family a family thing. So.
Yeah, and we talk about stuff, and my boys, they're the type that's just very imaginative, and it's just like, well, if I was the doctor, type stuff. So it's really cool. And my youngest two are terrified of the weeping angels. That's like their big fears.
I understand that. Cemeteries are never the same.
Right? After you watch those episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, come to think of it, I've never been in a cemetery since I've watched this episode. It's great.
May want to keep it that way.
Great.
And if you watched any of the classic stuff, or
I tried to watch some of it. My son likes those, but it's a little bit too much for me.
Really?
Personally,
yeah.
But I love the newer series, and like even as it gets on into like seasons 4 and 5 and 6, it becomes more modern.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
I think that's what it is, because people can identify with it.
Right.
Yeah, because the doctor spends so much time in whatever year it is, and you're like, oh yeah, the clothes and the cell phones and the food and all, pop culture references. Like, oh, I get that, and
all the references to like different movies and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You relate more with that than the stuff from the older thing, especially like the black and white stuff. It's just it seems like it's just like a mop bucket and a plunger. Yeah. Oh, I'm scared.
Rubber monster of the week is what it's affectionately called.
That's funny. So I'm taking it you're a Doctor Who fan too.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I'm new-ish. I've only been watching for like 2.5 years.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was well into the Matt Smith era when I discovered it. And I had no idea. Even with Netflix, like it never like popped up on my suggested. I don't know what I was watching that it didn't suggest too many cartoons, I guess. But I had friends that I would keep seeing their posts on Saturday night on Facebook. They're like, time to watch Doctor Who. And I was like, okay, I need to see what this is.
It's funny that I never heard of it. Like, right before my son had told me about Doctor Who, I went on a cruise. And on the cruise, they were talking about Doctor Who. And they were like, you've never heard of Doctor Who? So I'm like, no. And I forgot about it. And then when my son brought it back up, it kind of, triggered that memory. I was like, yeah, they were talking about it on the cruise. And I was like, I've never heard of it before, but, it has a bigger following than what, like, I realized at first. Because at first I was just like, okay, this is kind of one of those Netflix, odd shows on the side. And then, like, the more I became friends with, the people here and things like that, going to conventions and just everyday life, I was surprised how many people knew about Doctor Who and how many people watched it.
Yeah.
So, but I've got a couple people hooked to Doctor Who since I started watching
Good.
it. Yeah. I have an ex-boyfriend that I got hooked on Doctor Who.
Nice.
We would binge watch Doctor Who because he's like, I gotta watch them all.
Yeah.
But
nice.
Yeah. So, and I've got a couple other people hooked to it too. So.
And you come here and
you see all the stuff.
Yeah, you see all the stuff, and obviously. If somebody is here, they're probably a fan unless they got dragged here by a friend or a family member who is a fan. So, you get to meet your fellow Whovians and just realize, you're not alone in your fandom, which is always a good thing. So.
My daughter, her 14th birthday was this past year, and we had a birthday party sleepover. We had like 10 girls. And it was also so happens to be a day that they had an open house here. And I told them, I was like, well, the Doctor Who open house is today too, if you guys want to come. And they're like, yeah. And the other girls in the group were just like, okay. But like by the time that they all left, they all were like, hey, we should go home and watch an episode. So they got dragged here, but then it got intriguing after they seen all the merchandise and the room. I guess you'd say memorabilia.
The museum.
Yeah. Then it sparked some curiosity.
Nice. Yeah. I think that's what they're, one of the things they're trying to achieve here too, is just, yeah, it's a great place to come and buy stuff, but it's a great place to meet fans and play the games, and I can tell the pinball machine is going,
Yep.
Full stop out there.
Yes.
So it's a fun fandom to be part of.
It is, and the cosplay is just endless.
Mm-hmm.
That series, because you can forget about a character and then you see someone out and cosplay and you're just like, oh yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's really cool that way.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, cool. Well, thank you for stopping by.
Yes, absolutely.
Obviously, I know who you are, but for the people that don't know who you are, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Erilyn Northcutt.
And you're how old?
And I am 10 years old. I am almost 11.
Alrighty then. Good age.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. So, I'm gonna guess that your mother introduced you to Doctor Who.
Yeah. So this is a story. One day, Mom was watching an episode of Doctor Who, and I didn't know if I was allowed to watch it or not, because I didn't know if it was an adult show. And Mom said I could stay, so I'm like, awesome. So yeah, that's how I got started.
You watched it and you haven't stopped.
I've watched through season 6 twice.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Good. You're raising her right. So, not that we'd expect anything less. So. Our family is we are a bunch of geeks, though, aren't we? So considering, your step grandmother is a fan as well too. So I don't know if your dad watches it though.
No, he said he tried to watch it and he just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, Chauncey was the same way. I keep trying. No, he saw most of Capaldi's first, his episodes, usually over my shoulder as I was watching it, and he'd be like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "If you just sit down and watch it, you know what was going on." So well, do you have a favorite Doctor?
To be honest, I think it would be the 10th Doctor. He's hilarious.
Yeah. That he is. Yeah. So, do you have a favorite episode?
Not really.
No.
No.
It's kind of hard to pick sometimes.
But if I have a lot of favorites, but if I had to pick one, it would be the one with the adipose.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as I saw Rose, I was like, Mom, Rose isn't dead.
She's coming back. Yeah. That's a good episode too. That bit with the Doctor and Donna mouthing to each other from across the room. That and adipose are just fun. Like they're not.
They're monsters.
They're
cute
monsters, but they're not like dangerous whatsoever.
Adorable.
It was the crazy lady in charge that was really the bad guy. The adipose were just creatures. They couldn't help it. That's what they were. Oh, cool. Oh. And have you introduced her to any of the classic era, or has it all been new?
It's all been new. I was telling her today because she kept asking, like, what's this with us? And I'm like, it's all classic Who. We'll just watch some classic Who. We'll need to do that.
Yeah.
She has not seen any.
Yeah. Because the new series, it does reference a lot of the classic stuff. And
I'm behind. I haven't seen any of the new season.
No?
No. I need to get caught up.
You do. You do. Yeah. It's good. Yeah. I think I say that all the time, though. Like, it's good! Watch it! It's the best thing ever! And then, the next thing comes along, I'm like, it's the best thing ever! It would be that way for every season, I think. Best thing ever! So,
Best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you've been exercising your fingers on the pinball machine there.
Very much so.
So you're racking up the points, the high score.
I got to the Daleks, but as soon as I got to the Daleks, game over. What?
I think that's the case anyway. You run into Daleks, game over.
Pretty much.
I think that's fitting.
But other people got to knock it down the flaps, and I'm like, what you see? Huh?
Yes, yeah. Work those finger muscles, and maybe you'll get it on the next game. So, and if you looked at all the other stuff that they have on display in there, is that pretty cool? Mm-hmm. All the old stuff. Yeah. Crazy to think that some of the stuff they have on display there is like 40, 50 years old, isn't it?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Some of that stuff from, I haven't been in there recently. I don't know if they have anything from the first Doctor's era, but, you go back to, like, the third Doctor's era, and, you're going 40 years back. So, which is crazy. You've been through the shop, the actual shop yet? One of everything?
I wish, but no.
Making a mental list for your birthday and Christmas and Easter and whatever holiday you could come up with that you could get presents.
Speaking of Easter and birthday, my birthday is actually on Easter Sunday this year.
Oh yeah, well,
yeah,
so you should get double then. You should get an Easter basket and birthday presents. Yeah, and then birthday presents and cake. And then you could get cake and Easter candy at the same time.
I will have the biggest sugar crash ever.
Yeah. That sounds like a plan to me. Alrighty then. Well, thank you for stopping by and seeing me.
I'm Mike Schwanke, and I'm from Northwest Indiana.
I'm Jessica, and I'm from Northwest Indiana.
Okay. But that's not where you came from, though, right?
No, actually, we were in Orlando, Florida, and on our way back home, and made it a point to stop off here.
Nice.
Had to come and see it. Ever since we went to Gen Con, we saw the booth there at Gen Con, and had to come down here and check it out.
Nice. So, cool. Awesome. So you're obviously Whovians. Fans. So fans. Are you long time fans? Or
She is a long time fan. I was a fan back in the Baker days in the 80s. Yeah. Back when I was in high school. But then of course I let it go and then started dating Jess about a year ago-ish, and now I'm back into Wholand. Nice. I love watching the episodes now.
You thought you escaped.
Well, I did. The biggest difference is the technology. Mm-hmm. Watching the episodes compared to back then to now, it's just phenomenal now.
Yeah. Well, even with the new series, the fact that it just is celebrated 10 years since the return. Yeah. I mean, and you look at like the CGI in Eccleston's era compared to now. I mean, you look at something like the Savine.
Oh yeah.
Compared to something like, now with like the Silence or something, and it's just...
Oh, that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine watching those two episodes back to back because it would almost be like walking into a wall.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, just as the technology improves, I think, the show is always going to be good, but I mean, the ability to tell a story better because of the technology, I think is a big plus. So you're from back in the Tom Baker days, and then you said you were long term, but not as long term.
Technically 10 years. I started with Epson when he started, and have been watching it since then. Yeah. And then I've gone back and whatever older episodes I can find to watch, because I know a lot of them have been deleted or gotten rid of, and they're harder to find. Yeah. So any of the older ones I've gone all the way back to, the old black and white days and watched all those.
Oh, thank God for Netflix.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Netflix makes it wonderful.
Netflix is certainly
helpful.
It's certainly a jumping off point
Yeah.
For the classic era. I know that's where I started. I mean, I started with Rose. I started watching like 2.5 years ago.
Rose killed my doctor.
So, well, yes, but I discovered Who seems like late in the game now, because it's only been a couple of years. But I started with Rose and just devoured all of New Who up until the point that I jumped in, which was right before Jenna came on as the full-time companion with the Bells of St. John.
Yeah.
Because it was still post Christmas special, so I hadn't even seen the Christmas special with Clara. Then I was like, okay, well, there's more, because Netflix was telling me, hey, you watch this, there's the classic Who's. I'm like, okay, there's more, and I watched it, and I mean I think when I watched it, I think maybe there were like 30 like stories, and like a good half of it was just Tom Baker. Like the entire Key to Time, the entire Key to Time story was on there. So that took up a lot of it, and then there were several other Tom stories, and there was like one first Doctor, one second Doctor, a couple of third, whole bunch of Tom, a couple of 5, 6 is not on there at all. The 6th Doctor's not on there at all, and then there was a couple of 7th Doctor, and that was it. So
it's still real spotty with
it is
a lot of that.
Trying
not
to find
a full
it.
Season. I mean, it's just we have this story, you can watch it. We have this story, we can watch it.
It's just a shame that they recorded over the film. I mean, it was expensive, so they used it again.
Yes, a lot of Whovians like, if you could travel in the TARDIS, where would you go? Like back to the 60s and tell them not to wipe the tapes. Don't do it. I will give you $20. Here, buy some more film. Because back in the 60s, I bet that would go a long way.
Probably
actually.
would have. A real long way.
Although Disney did the same thing with the animation cells.
Yes,
they would
they
wipe those because it was expensive, and it was reuse it. Not you can't, as much as you'd like to preserve it. So
exactly. Local television programs that you see, especially us around Chicago. The old Bozo shows from up there was phenomenal. The WGN morning lineup was just unreal for decades.
Yeah.
And it's all gone.
Classic era, obviously, and you're new-ish, even at 10 years.
I just can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah.
Honestly, I went from a character that I've known for a while, but the way they keep evolving the character. And at first I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Old Doctor, am I going to like this? I'm like, oh, God, yes. Give me this edgy Doctor any day.
I really enjoy Capaldi's Doctor. I know a lot of people are complaining because, he's a bit rude and standoffish and kind of a jerk, and like, well, that could be standoffish for some people, but considering my doctor's the 6th Doctor and he's one of the most brash doctors in the history, I have no problem with it.
He's rough, and I like him, but I mean, if you watch the whole story of everything leading up to where he's at, he's angry. He's not happy. So he's an upset, angry, grumpy man at this point.
So context.
Well, after all the bad things that constantly happen, the man always gets thrown into a cesspool.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because that doggone TARDIS has a mind of its own. Seems to drop him where he's needed, thankfully.
Well, that's what she said. That's what Sexy said.
What I have noticed watching the new Doctor Who episodes is when you first started off with Eccleston, he had a light heart. Now that you've worked your way into Capaldi, the lightness is gone. And it's sort of sad because I liked the freshness of Eccleston when he, it was like, oh, look, he's really out there living his long, long life. But gosh, now it's like, it has worn him down. And it's like...
We gotta catch you up on...
Smith.
Yeah,
I know.
That's why. You'll probably understand.
I haven't done the Smith yet. I've done only 4 episodes of Smith. So I have to do more Smith.
Yeah.
So those I've simply caught on BBC America. But We're real close to being done with Tenet now. What, 4 episodes, 5, and then I'm done with Tenet.
Yeah.
So I like Tenet. I really thought that was a great Doctor.
Yeah, he was. I mean, I love all of them for different reasons. So, but it's. I mean, you have to kind of look at it and, what has the Doctor endured?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's how I see Capaldi.
Even he's not human, but he's still a living, breathing creature that has feelings and emotions, and a person can only take so much before it gets to them.
Well, if you watch the episodes as they're put out, between Smith and Capaldi, you've got all this time that you haven't been watching it. So you have time to like relax and not think about it, and then all of a sudden you get Capaldi and he's like just rawr and angry and he's kind of grumpy old man. But like me, I took the seasons, and this is my 3rd or 4th time watching through all the seasons with him. I just rebooted and started again, and I watched from Smith straight through into Capaldi, and you see it, and it just continues to kind of go on a little bit of a downhill with how he is. Because if you actually watch them back to back, you see that. But if you give yourself 6 months in between, you're going to come back and be like, well, he's kind of angry. But if you finish with Smith and jump right into Capaldi, you're like, no, he's not that angry. He's just continuing at this point. And that's pretty much how I see it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to see what Tenet does with the Purple Man now on Netflix for Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
That could be interesting.
Yeah.
I think he'll make a fine villain.
I'm very excited that David Tennant is now part of the Marvel universe.
Me too. I love it. And he is too.
Yeah.
He has been popping all sorts of stuff all over the media.
And he's doing the cons again now.
He's doing
and I've been
lots of cons.
Yeah.
Hawk watching the cons, seeing if there's one close enough.
Yeah.
Tenet, I might get Tenet's signature myself.
Yeah, my as much as I love David, my wallet does not. So
I can't imagine he'd be cheap.
I need to win the lottery.
Probably.
Well, he was at Wizard World in Raleigh.
$55
a couple weeks ago.
Oh no.
No.
Smith was over 100.
Smith was over 100. That's what you spent to get his signature.
Yeah.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, they were only offering a VIP experience for David because just because he's so popular.
Yeah.
So it was a couple $100 to get into his panel and get an autograph and photo, all that. But he actually they're going to the one in Philadelphia in a couple months, and it's going to be him and Billy.
Nice.
Together.
Wow.
It's
Yeah,
like
$500-$600
to get both of them together.
Whoa.
VIP package to like go like panel and Q&A and
I
the
really
photo,
wanted
like,
to do Smith and Karen.
Yeah.
I wanted to do the two of them together, and I just couldn't do it with my schedule and then the cost of the two of them.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
It and Karen and Matt don't seem to end up in the same place at the same time
No,
quite
not
often.
No.
It was supposed to be Karen, Matt, and Arthur at a convention in Canada, Toronto last year, and Karen had to cancel at the last minute, so it ended up being Matt and Arthur, which is still not a bad, pairing. But
we did Chicago, and I got Barrowman and Smith, and then missed Karen. Just barely missed her. I'm like, got at least two of them out of that.
Yes, you did.
Start collecting
Yeah.
those autographs, get those photos. So,
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, it was nice that Eccleston's a part of the Marvel Universe. Got, Thor, Dark World.
Yep. So, get ready to watch that, actually.
There you go. Well, hey, it took a doctor to take down the Queen of Asgard.
So, I've seen it, but we're in the middle of rewatching all of the Marvel movies leading up to Age of Ultron.
Nice.
So, but it's been every other week, starting like right after Christmas with the first Iron Man, and we've been going through all of them. And we're getting ready to do Thor
Did
Dark
you see
World
the
next
theaters
week.
doing it also?
Yeah.
They are ready to sell you tickets to watch the entire
If I thought
Marvel
I
universe.
could stay awake,
I couldn't. There'd be no way.
I would, but I know I cannot stay awake. So
No
there's
way.
some of them that I think are doing like the two Avengers back to back. Like, I could stay awake for that, but not the
yeah,
entire
there's theaters
MCU.
doing the entire MCU.
Yeah. Caffeine intravenously
You'd
or
have
something.
You'd have to.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's, it's good to see, those that were in Who get into other stuff.
Lots of Whovians have made it into the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
So a lot of the Who people
Coincidence? Maybe not.
No way.
It was Stanley's plot.
That's right. Stan the man.
Yes. I love him.
The master of the cameo appearance.
Yeah. I love Stan. Yeah. He's Generalissimo for a reason.
He was in Chicago at the Comic-Con and looked very tired.
Really?
Yep.
What is 90? He, like 200 years old now?
I know.
Something?
He's 93, I think, or something, and he's has an extremely busy schedule.
Yeah.
The man is so active, it's unreal. Flying from city to city, it's just nuts.
Yeah.
But you know what? He's staying active. How can you live life better than doing that? I mean,
absolutely.
And we look at the great Leonard Nimoy that just passed, and he worked as long as he could. The COPD finally got him, but that man, he did it as long as he could.
Mm-hmm.
So God bless him for their long. He lived long and he did prosper.
Yes.
So
very, very, very much so. Yeah.
So are we your last podcast people of the day?
You
probably?
are.
All right. Well, we will
you
get
hustled
out of
your way up here.
We did. We really busted our rumps getting up here from Orlando. It was a nice drive up, and we got to see the store. We're going to go buy a few things here. Folks, if you get a chance, buy some stuff here. It's priced wonderfully. Believe me, I shop on eBay and everywhere else looking for stuff to buy for Jessica. When I do, I just looked at the jewelry rack out here, and they are dead on with their prices. So definitely jump on the bandwagon, buy some stuff.
keep an eye out for open houses and they're at conventions and stuff too. So
exactly,
they're everywhere. At least I try to be. Which is good. So.
That's good business.
Yeah, so it's a good shop.
It is a very good shop,
and they're good people too. So I'm glad you guys made it. With minutes to spare.
Minutes to spare.
Yeah. And hopefully you come back.
Oh, we will be back. We'll bring friends. We'll do it again. We'll be watching online and see when the next open house is, or we'll just call and say, "Hey, can we come down with some friends?"
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm glad to meet some more Hoofians.
Nice to meet you too, Rachel.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
All right.
All right. Take care.
All right. You too. You have been listening to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. Any and all movies, books, games, and other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by their respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied.